They're not just movies, they're time machines. Pop one in, and suddenly you're wearing leg warmers, drinking Ecto Cooler, and wondering why every teenager in the 80s looked 35. The 1980s didn't just give us blockbusters, they gave us cinematic personality, big hair, bigger soundtracks, and storylines that made zero sense but felt like gospel. Today we're diving into 8 movies that made the 80s totally unforgettable. Not just great movies, essential ones. Films that didn't just reflect the decade, they defined it. And yes, there will be sense. Now, before we go full DeLorean into the past, don't forget to smash that like button like it's a boombox in detention, and subscribe if your VCR ever ate a tape. Ready? Let's crank the nostalgia to 11. Number 8. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 1986. Ferris Bueller wasn't just a character. He was a lifestyle. A high school senior with the charm of James Bond, the wit of Groucho Marx, and the confidence of someone who's never failed a math test in his life. Ferris Bueller's Day Off wasn't about skipping school. It was about seizing the day with style. And in the world of John Hughes, no one seized harder than Ferris. Armed with a synthesizer cough and a best friend on the verge of a nervous breakdown, Ferris turned Chicago into his personal theme park. Museum visits, luxury lunches, joy rides in a borrowed Ferrari, and of course, a lip-sync performance of Twist and Shout during a downtown parade that felt less like truancy and more like destiny. It wasn't just outrageous fun, it was operatic mischief. Meanwhile, poor Principal Rooney spent the whole movie unraveling like an overcooked spaghetti noodle. He wasn't just a disciplinarian, he was a tragic comedy act, forever one step behind Ferris, like Wile E. Coyote chasing a student with plot armor. And let's talk about that final line. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. And if film packed with hijinks, that moment landed like a truth bomb, deep, unexpected, and weirdly profound. Ferris Bueller's Day Off wasn't just cool, it redefined cool. Not loud or edgy, but effortless. The kind of cool that talks directly to the camera and makes you wish you were the one faking sick that day. Now number 7, Back to the Future, 1985. Find me a more iconic trio than Marty McFly, Doc Brown, and a plutonium-powered DeLorean. I'll wait. This wasn't just a movie. It was a genre cocktail shaken by a mad scientist and poured straight into our imaginations. You had Michael J. Fox as Marty, the most relatable time-traveling teen ever, armed with a skateboard, a Walkman, and enough charm to convince a past version of your mom not to fall in love with him. Then there's Doc Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd, who looked like he stuck a fork in the space-time continuum and came out quoting Einstein. Their chemistry? Instant classic. And the DeLorean, a stainless steel sports car that was basically a spaceship with anxiety issues. That thing didn't just drive, it ripped holes in time. But don't forget, this movie had heart. Whether it was Marty playing Johnny Be Good at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, or nervously trying to erase his own existence, Back to the Future blended stakes, silliness, and sci-fi in a way no one else had seen before. Add in Huey Lewis in the news, a power of love blasting from every speaker, and Back to the Future didn't just entertain, it became the blueprint for how to make smart, fun, endlessly rewatchable movies. Great Scott, indeed! Number 6, Ghostbusters, 1984. Who you gonna call? The answer is still Ghostbusters. This movie made paranormal investigation look cooler than rock and roll. Bill Murray's dry wit, Dan Aykroyd's ghost nerdery, Harold Ramis' deadpan science, and Ernie Hudson's no-nonsense charm created an ensemble so good it somehow made being slimed a career high point. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, pure nightmare fuel in the best way. And that theme song, if you didn't scream, "I ain't afraid of no ghost" in the mirror at least once, did you even grow up in the 80s? Ghostbusters wasn't trying to be timeless. It just accidentally was. It gave us a new genre, new icons, and a million quotable lines. Admit it, if someone asks if you're a god, you say yes. Number 5. The Goonies, 1985. A treasure map, booby traps, a pirate ship, and Chuck doing the truffle shuffle, The Goonies was every kid's wildest daydream come to life. Directed by Richard Donner and powered by a Spielberg-produced sugar rush, it was a hit. These kids weren't just hunting for gold, they were discovering friendship, courage, and exactly how much yelling you can pack into 2 hours. And Sloth? A gentle giant with a Baby Ruth addiction and a heart of gold. What really made the Goonies timeless, though, wasn't the adventure, it was the energy. The non-stop yelling, the overlapping dialogue, the sense that everything was slightly out of control but totally alive. It felt real because it was real. Like someone hit record on an actual group of friends running wild. And if you grew up with it, you already know. Goonies never say die. They just say, "Hey, you guys," and dive headfirst into legend. Next up, number 4, E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial, 1982. Phone home? Try Wreck Your Emotions. Steven Spielberg reached straight into our collective soul and pulled out the most bittersweet alien friendship story ever told. E.T. wasn't your typical space invader. No lasers, no world domination plan, just a scared, stranded little alien with telekinesis, a love for Reese's Pieces, and a face like a wrinkled raisin with sad eyes. And somehow, we loved him instantly. Then there's Elliot, played by pitch-perfect Henry Thomas, who gave us one of the most honest portrayals of childhood wonder and pain ever put on screen. Their bond felt real, painfully real. You believed it when they flew across the moon. You felt it when the government guys in hazmat suits showed up. And don't lie, you cried when the heart lights started to fade. John Williams' score wasn't music, it was emotional manipulation at its finest. The moment those notes swelled during the final goodbye, yeah, we all lost it every single time. And let's not forget a tiny Drew Barrymore, delivering chaotic toddler energy and stealing scenes like she was born on a soundstage. E.T. made sci-fi intimate. It reminded us that even aliens can feel human, and sometimes the most otherworldly thing is just connection. Number 3, The Breakfast Club, 1985. 5 teens, 1 library, 0 filters. The Breakfast Club wasn't just a high school movie. It was a full-blown therapy session disguised as detention. John Hughes didn't need car chases or explosions. He handed us 5 walking stereotypes, locked them in a room, and slowly peeled back their layers like a teenage onion of emotional damage. There was Brian the Brain, Andrew the Athlete, Allison the Basket Case, Claire the Princess, and Bender the Criminal. On paper, cliches; on screen, raw truth bombs waiting to explode. And explode they did, with insults, secrets, tears, and one unforgettable group therapy circle on the floor that still feels like the most honest conversation you've never had in school. Judd Nelson's Bender stomped through the library with a middle finger to the system and a heart hidden behind his sarcasm. Molly Ringwald was queen of the 80s, but Claire showed she wasn't just another pink dress in a pout. And Ally Sheedy, she made eating a pixie stick and Captain Crunch sandwich feel like performance art. And then there's that ending. That walk, that fist, that Simple Minds anthem echoing in the background like a universal promise. No one's going to forget what just happened. Not them, not us. The Breakfast Club cracked open the teenage soul and proved that everyone's got a story. Some just hit it better than others, and one Saturday it said more about growing up than most movies say in a lifetime. Number 2, Top Gun 1986. You can almost hear the afterburners just thinking about it. Top Gun wasn't just a blockbuster, it was a lifestyle shift. Suddenly the whole world wanted to live like it was 30,000 feet above reality. With a need for speed and Kenny Loggins screaming "Danger Zone" in the background, this was cinema that sweated testosterone, then handed you a pair of aviators and dare you to not look cool. Tom Cruise is Maverick, a walking paradox, fearless in the air, emotionally wrecked on the ground. He smirked, he soared, he self-sabotaged, and somehow made reckless charm look heroic. And then there was Goose, the wingman to end all wingmen. Their bromance, legendary. Their loss, devastating. The plot, honestly, it could have been scribbled on a dog tag, but the vibes, immaculate. From the opening carrier launch and golden hour lighting to the still absurd but iconic beach volleyball scene, sweaty, slow-mo, set to Berlin synths, Top Gun dialed everything to 11 and let the sun flare do the rest. Tony Scott direction turned jets into characters, the soundtrack into prophecy, and Cruise's motorbike rides into cinematic currency. And don't forget the Navy, because recruitment spiked hard after this. No movie made flying jets look cooler or feel more mythic. Top Gun wasn't just a hit, it was an identity. It turned adrenaline into art, bromance into religion, and left a contrail across 80s culture you can still see today. And coming in at number 1, Die Hard, 1988. Yippee-ki-yay! You already know. But let's break it down. Die Hard didn't just show up in the 80s action party. It crashed through the window in a tank top, barefoot, bleeding, and armed with one-liners sharp enough to cut grass. This wasn't just an action movie. It was a genre-redefining explosion in slow motion. Bruce Willis's John McClane wasn't a jacked-up super soldier or a kung fu master. He was just a cranky New York cop stuck at the wrong Christmas party. No shoes, no backup. Just pure chaos and way too much duct tape. He bled, he panicked, he made mistakes, but he kept going, turning elevator shafts and HVAC vents into weapons-grade battlegrounds. And then there's Hans Gruber, played by Shakespearean smugness by Alan Rickman. He wasn't just a villain, he was a corporate vampire in a three-piece suit, sipping champagne and quoting terrorists like they were footnotes. His fall from Nakatomi Plaza is still the most elegant plummet in cinema history. Everything about Die Hard hit different. The pacing, the stakes, the way McClane talks to himself like he's his own worst roommate. It's messy, it's loud, it's legendary. By the time the smoke clears and Let It Snow rolls over the end credits, one thing's obvious. Die Hard didn't just define what action could be, it redefined what a hero could be. Barefoot, bloody, and totally unforgettable. Right now, you feel all fuzzy and nostalgic? Yeah? For this feeling to last forever, you have to hit the like and subscribe button. Because with Box Set and Chill, the 80s and 90s never end.